What it is, people of YouTube, and welcome back to another video. It is another day of the Saudi Arabia experience.
I was gonna say exactly that. It is day 5.
And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest today. My sister came through to the pod. Lele, thank you so much for coming on to your girlfriend's worst nightmare.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first ever
Podcast, eh?
Yeah.
Most people are pretty nervous when they come on, but I just kind of get the ball rolling because I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, yeah, it is what it is, man.
Let's go.
Yeah. 100%, man. And you know, I think it's interesting because, you know, we've obviously known each other for a very, very long time. But I think it's always interesting to get the idea of why we're speaking today and kind of what we were trying to achieve today. And I think that for those of you who don't know, obviously Len and I are brother and sister through law, I suppose.
Yeah, literally.
And we've known each other for, what's it now?
Yeah. What? How are you in like grade 1?
Grade 1, yeah.
Grade
So
R, I remember.
Damn. So it's, geez, I think probably.
It's definitely over 20. No, it's not over 20 years. We're not that old. Let's do the math.
Maybe. So what? We met when I was 7, hey?
Yeah.
And then it's what, 21? Yeah. So what? 14 years old?
14 years.
Yeah.
15.
Geez, man.
Yeah.
What a time, eh? And I mean, before that, just to kind of get some context as to kind of where you came from. How was life growing up, and what's kind of the best context that one can get in understanding your life growing up?
I feel so I grew up with both parents until my parents separated. Grew up with lots of family around me. My mom's side, just my cousins, my granddad actually took me to school every day.
Crazy.
Fetched me from school. My cousin and I were in the same preschool at some stage. So it just grew up around a lot of family all the time. I think just really blessed to have that experience of what family is. Just having them every time. And obviously family fights and whatnot. But as a young kid, you're just excited to have everyone around all the time.
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, I grew up, my mom raised me most of the time. My dad was always working majority of the time.
Yeah.
But I spent a lot of time with my mom and being an only child at that point.
Sheesh.
Until you came and
rocked your world, eh?
Everything was mine.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I mean, so obviously your dad is Pitso Mosimane, right? Yeah. And that at the beginning, the growing up was it easy? Was it tough? Kind of not having the dad figure in your life.
Listen, I mean, from when I was like young, my first memories of Papa Pitso were mainly like going on trips or like New Year's was a big thing in our family. Like we all have our cousins around and then all the dads would light up the firecrackers and that's the kind of experiences that I had. Never of like sitting on a couch at home watching TV. I don't have those memories because he was busy. He was hardly around.
Yeah.
So I don't think I knew him that much until we got to spend more time. Yeah. And spend more time, obviously, because my parents separated. So then I got to spend time with him alone. Yeah. So it was. I mean, I didn't know any better back then. As a kid, you don't know.
100%. Yeah. And I mean, we obviously also relate to the fact that both of us come from divorced parents. Yeah. And then obviously 2 different households, lifestyle. Yeah. And then we meet. Crazy.
At the Lion King.
You still remember that day?
Yes. We went to the Lion King show.
Dude, I only remember like I was a Tato that day.
Yes.
So those who don't know, Tato was one of our a good cousin of ours. Shout out to him. Unfortunately life happens, but we've separated just through time. We met at the Lion King.
Yes.
What were your first impressions of Copzito, Kopmeister? The Cop man.
I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I just remember, so Kopano has this thing. When he's watching something, a show or like TV, Kopano watches the TV.
That's cap.
Like
we're going to cut that out, man.
No, we're not. I just remember you doing that thing. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I actually didn't know the context of us meeting.
Yes.
I don't know if they told you. Did they tell you?
No. They never did. Never did. Yeah, did you know that you were going to meet me that day?
No.
I also low-key didn't know that I was going to meet you that day.
No, I was told we're going to watch The Lion King. I was like, okay. And they said, yeah, kids, play.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I suppose our relationship started to develop. 100%. We moved to House and Lofts together. Yeah. And, you know, actually, by the way, during the time that Bapito, you, my mom, were all living together, you started obviously calling Bapito dad. Yeah. And that was quite a weird adjustment for me because, like, that wasn't really my biological dad and I couldn't really call him dad. So then we all kind of adopted this Bapito, like,
wavelength.
Yes.
I was also very weird with this whole, I mean, I called Bapito Papa growing up. That's how I knew him, Papa or Dad, but like more Papa. But then these new names started and I was like, okay, let's just jump onto the wavelength.
Same. And like we obviously then, you know, time started to progress. And I suppose what I think I love the most about our relationship is kind of, we both kind of saw each other grow through the years, you know, like be it the good, the bad and the ugly. And it's just, it's been a beautiful part, but kind of looking back on that upbringing, what do you think has been kind of the biggest lesson you've learned, growing up in such a, I suppose, disconnected family, but also trying to connect?
The best lesson I've learned from our family is just letting everybody just do their thing in the family. Everybody does their thing. And you're the way you are, and we accept you for that. But just do your own thing. People used to ask, like, are you going to have dinner now at the table all together and sit? And I was like,
no, we don't do that.
That's not a thing. Everybody's doing that.
Yeah. I mean, we just came back from Saudi Arabia. I think that's probably the first time in a very long time that we actually sat around the table and had dinner together.
So that's like a hard, like, we just let everybody, like, be you. Like, you have an opinion about this. Okay.
100%.
Stick to your opinion and we'll have our debates, but I think our family, like, maybe that's what you learn from blended families, is the fact that everybody comes with their own background and their own baggage. And we all have to come together to make it work and to be a family. And it's all about sacrifices 100%. At the end of the day. Like, I mean, we've fought so many times as kids. I feel like we don't fight that much anymore. That's true. As kids, like, we used to
go at it. Yeah, like, that's true. I mean, I was mostly right most of the time, but you know, we'll leave it at that. And then of course, so you go to then Vernay and then you move to St. Mary's. How was the Vernay experience? And by the way, guys, Lele, extreme academic, like you're fucking A student all the way, dude. Like I was the black sheep.
No, actually being an A student in primary school, I wouldn't lie. It was just the thing though, like I was that black girl, like you just had to do well, you had to. And you know, it's not that our parents like put it on us, like or put it on me that Lily, you have to do well, if you don't get A's or blah. It was probably just the thing of, I don't know, like it's a thing of proving something. I don't know, but I mean, the Vernay experience was great. It was great, and it was very eye opening because the kids there came from different backgrounds. So Vernay College is a Portuguese school, and we had kids from Angola, people from Portugal, Brazilians, and then there was obviously us South Africans at the school. But I think you just learned how to connect with different people. And the South, being from the South, it does something to you, you know. There's just something that people from the South know. If you're from the south of Johannesburg, you know, like there's just something different about the environment that side. But always, I feel like I was the big fish in the small pond. It was so not easy, but it wasn't difficult to want to it wasn't difficult to do good, because I mean, I'm an overachiever, almost perfectionist kind of a person. I think I've had that from a young age. But you know, sometimes you need a bit of a challenge. And as a kid, I didn't understand why I had to move schools, because I was like, guys, I'm doing well. Why are you trying to move me? I'm good here. 100%. I mean, I'm at the top of my game.
100%. And you're dominating that space.
Exactly.
And then you go into a big pond.
Exactly.
A big pond. Yeah.
Big pond. And
she heads to St. Mary's Waverley. Okay. So now how does that St. Mary's Waverley get? Because, you know, obviously then, you know, because we were in a fortunate position to kind of go to such schools, there is the paradox now of the coconut race coming into fruition. So how was that experience kind of navigating St. Mary's?
I think, so I joined St. Mary's in grade 9.
Yeah,
so everybody had already started in grade 8.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you started in grade 9 in new school, there's probably only a few of you guys that joined. I think it was me and 2 other girls that joined the grade in that year.
Were they bad?
Aye. I know. Actually, the one girl I share a birthday with, and we didn't know until like when we arrived. But anyways, so as the only new black girl, I wasn't. There's someone else who joined later. But anyways, I was just navigating myself in that space because I come from a school, at Verne, where I was that black girl who did sports, the academics and everything. And I mean, I was relatively sporty. Now I get to St. Mary's and black girls do culturals.
Yes.
Black girls are in choir.
Yes. There was no cultural activities in Verne, or was it?
There was, but I mean,
it wasn't as intense.
It wasn't as intense, yeah. And at Verne, it was like you get chosen to do that.
Oh, crazy!
Not everybody goes willingly.
I see.
But St. Mary's, there's just all of these things that you get to choose from, and I mean, I'm not a cultural person. Like, I have 2 left feet. I am my father's daughter. And, I can't sing. Like, what am I doing joining the choir? I actually even went to audition once. And I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I didn't even do the audition. I think I left in the line. I was like, what am I doing?
Sure. So then how are your confidence levels at this time? Because, I mean, I always consider the black woman, unfortunately, right now, as the lowest kind of in the social, dynamic of society. So now you go to an all-white school, you're a black woman, you come from the South, what does it do for your confidence? Because your confidence in your whole entire life has kind of developed tremendously. But how did you navigate that with confidence?
I think with confidence, I don't think I was that aware of the confidence situation at that point, mainly because I was so used to being an outlier, as in like being so at the top level. Whereas when I got to St. Mary's, I was like, okay, well, I need to find a new way to be an outlier.
Yes.
So there was Lele, only black girl in the swimming team. Sure. There was Lele chilling with the jocks, as they called them, the white girls. What are the
jocks, for those who don't know?
The jocks is a group of white girls that do hockey, swimming, water polo, athletics, striving for first team in grade 9. That's group. And I was the only black girl amongst these white girls. And obviously, like, I did get looked at in a specific way. Not only by some of the white girls, but also the black girls. They were like, we rang.
100%.
So I look like the lost black girl also.
Jeez, that's crazy.
But in my head, like, I was just hanging out with the people who welcomed me the best, you know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I did have black friends, like from boarding and stuff. Tiny and K2 were great. Like, I had that side. It's not that, but I could never bring the worlds together. I could never bring the black girls to come chill with the white girls at break. That wasn't a thing. You eat your lunch with your group. It was hard.
Yeah, because, I when I was thinking about Hilton, I think like I kind of had the same thing, but I was more like a squad hopper though.
Yes,
so like, I didn't really but I didn't mix them, as you said.
Yes.
So I could go chill with the guys that were, fishing down there in the lakes, but also chill with like the black guys that pop bottles on a Saturday.
At Cocoon.
Yes, exactly. Like I feel like I had that dynamic. So it's interesting to see that you kind of didn't merge those two together. And like through this whole like squad hopping, were you the only person doing it, or did you have like a friend that could also kind of squad hop with you, if that makes sense?
In the beginning, I was doing it by myself.
Okay.
And I guess like once like it became a thing, I think also when you go up the grades, it doesn't really matter the squad stuff anymore because now we're in grade 10, grade 11, and we all trying to figure things out and your friends in different groups. But I guess when I made a close friend, Nandi, like we ended up like chilling with the white girls and we had our white friends and then we chill with the black girls and blah, blah, blah. But it was always like cliquey, guys. High school, girls' schools are cliquey. And once you're the one that wants to change this, it's like, who do you think you are?
Sure.
Until like we get old and realize it's actually not that deep.
Yeah, 100%. And cliques are important, especially in a space like that. And on the note of cliques, I also want to ask, at Hilton, definitely the masculine space provides a lot of space for insecurities. Be it how big you are, how many chicks you have, the ideal Hilton boy, and so what were kind of the insecurities that kind of emerged from you kind of during the time? Because a feminine space like that is intense, and sometimes even a very toxic. So how, like, what kind of insecurities were kind of emerging during the time, and more so kind of what are the harder moments during the St. Mary's experience?
Definitely academics. I mean, yeah. Sure. Okay. I mean, I thought I was going to come to St. Mary's and be top, but that doesn't happen. It didn't happen. And when you're the black girl with the boffin badges and you're getting great marks and, you know, like it takes you get more respect, I guess. But like you also get recognized as that girl, and all the teachers know you and everybody knows. Even like when you're going up, like, because at St. Mary's, like you go get your badge like at assembly, or you're getting an academic blazer at assembly in front of the whole school, and like you want to be that girl that the little girls look at and like, yeah, I'm going to be a leader like Lele, you know? Yeah. But when you're not an academic, when you realize in high school I realized in high school that I'm not a purely academic, like there's so much out there than academics. And I think our parents taught us this, as long as you do your best, that's all that matters. So I ended up having to spread my wings and kind of do my best in different arenas. I ended up doing sports. I went more into the arts. I ended up doing the culturals. Crazy. Not the culturals that you think.
You can't dance, dude.
I won't lie. The dancing choir, no. I was definitely behind the scenes, tech girl, lighting, sound kind of a person. Did the film side of it. So there's the film club that we had. You know, I did more of the community service stuff, and like I just spread myself thin, marketing. So I think the biggest insecurity was the marks thing, because I was surrounded by these black girls that are excelling academically. Like you're getting 80% and above for almost all your subjects, so you can get that academic blazer and get that academic honors. I didn't get that academic blazer and those academic honors, but it's just about balancing like what actually matters to you, really.
Yeah. But I mean, also school brainwashes you, to be fair. It brainwashes you into convincing you that. And it's also unfortunate because, I mean, there is also some validity in it, because if you're not getting the A's, then getting into university is also a difficult situation. So I guess, I mean, I can hear that, you know, and I think that like, it's kind of tough. And I think also because, I mean, for you, it's also about proving yourself as a black woman. You know, there's a big part of society today, and it's for our black women, is that they just need to prove themselves all the time in whatever space they're in. And I think that's one of the biggest problems that you guys had growing up. And so like that, you obviously you got a blazer though. What blazer did you get? Yeah,
I got a community service blazer, and I was literally one badge away from getting my cultural blazer. And I was the first person who's actually gotten not the first, but I was one of those girls that got a badge for drama, but never did drama. I was never on stage, but being the behind the scenes kind of. Yeah. So
it's crazy. Wow.
I mean, you know what? I was actually quite upset that I didn't get that full colors to get that blazer, because I mean, you know, getting a blazer back then was one of the biggest things ever. That time it's just a jacket. Now I look back and I'm like, you put so much pressure on yourself. It's not even just you, like just the environment. It's like you're so much more respected and you go up the rankings.
Sure.
As soon as you get a badge or a blazer or, you know, that kind of stuff. That was the social status, I guess, the social ladder.
Yeah, that you wanted to play.
People at the top.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. And I mean, so looking back, was it worth it? Like if you, so I've got another sister named Skachole Shaba, from my dad's side. You know, she's actually grade 8 this year, in St. Mary's. And so if she was sitting here today, kind of knowing what you know, what do you think kind of would be the best advice going into an all-girls school? And even for somebody that's watching today that wants to kind of know about all-girls schools.
I think it's worth it in the lessons that you learn, but you don't pick that up while you're in the system, right? But now when I look back, like all those kinds of like achievements and looking up to those girls that were doing all those things pushed me to want to do more and do the firsts, and, you know, get out of my comfort zone and lead when I needed to, because I mean, sometimes it's intimidating having to lead people that are above ranking in terms of the social calendar. I mean, the social ladder, who are above you, right? So sometimes you have to like just, you know, fuck it, I'm just going to do it
100%.
and just going to put myself out there. So in that essence of what you learn, the lessons that you learn out of it, 100%, I feel like they didn't build a system like that just to break people. And there's no way that it's produced all these people that, like all the people that our schools have produced that are broken. I don't think that's the case. And there's no way our parents' money goes to that for something
100%.
that doesn't work.
100%.
I mean, we're here doing all of this stuff.
Yes.
We do need to attribute it to the school. And I think the lessons that you learn and the loyalty that you get to, like that you keep to the brand, that I am a St. Mary's girl, I am a Hilton boy.
Yeah.
You feel the community, you feel like, wow,
100%.
This place, I mean, when you're cheering in the stands there for your team, like you feel a part of something. And I feel like some schools where, let's say you're doing homeschooling, you're just sitting, I mean, it works for some people, but I just would think if I was homeschooled, I wouldn't have that sense of community or that sense of teamwork of we come together to do this, or that sense of pride. So I think it teaches you loyalty. It teaches you to overcome things. It teaches you that you're not as big as you thought you were.
That's true. That's true.
Also teaches you just how to learn how to interact with people. This thing of us being leaders of this. There's those ones who get there, they just abuse the power. I won't lie. There's those people who are just like, hey, what are you doing here?
That's true. That's true.
But it also teaches you to abide to that person.
That's so true. And the hierarchy of life, eh?
Yeah, it's a hierarchy. It's part of it.
That's so true. That's true. And kind of just ending off on the whole like high school experience. Obviously, one of the big things is that, because you're in a community that is white dominated, you obviously adopt white characteristics. And so that's kind of the balance of life in the cost as to going to such prestigious schools, is that unfortunately you get brainwashed into a certain culture. And so how did you find the balance? Because you didn't seem like you jumped to the other side.
Where did you guys call it winded?
Yeah. So at Hilton, we had a term called a winder. So, a guy, you kind of spoke like this the whole time. Bro, you know what I'm saying?
It's pretty basic.
Exactly. So now, I don't know, how did you kind of make sure that you didn't kind of tip over to that side? Because there are those women today that are in university that still kind of hold to their whiteness, Now, look, I think for me, what I realized is that I cannot define what it means to be black. But I think there seems to be a deep-seated insecurity in those people that kind of adopt that culture. Or is it a fact of them just not accepting you as who you are? Yeah.
Well, I think in my experience, boarding school helped.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Boarding. All the black girls were boarded.
You stayed like 5 minutes away from the
house. Guys, I could walk home. And I was a termly boarder, not
crazy.
A weekly.
That was crazy.
Termly.
Anyway, still for another day, man.
Anyways. But you know what? It came out, it worked for the best. Yeah. Boarding really helped. White girls were not boarders. They were, maybe you can count them on your hand, the ones that were boarders. Termly boarders, on top of it, their parents had to be living outside the country. But even if they were, my friend can take me out of boarding and I can go live with her on the weekends, kind of a thing. But anyways, boarding was filled with a lot of black girls, and it became that community where we spoke Vernac. I think that's the point where I learned the most Zulu ever. My roommates were Zulu girls. And I think having a black house mom, shout out to Mom K, she just brought us home. We were at a home, like as if you were at home, and we spoke Vernac, like I said, we sang, the boarding community brought you back to your blackness. It did really, because we became those girls. Like, I mean, I had to go to the other boarding house on the weekends because my house was a weekly boarding house. I had to move to the termly boarding house on weekends. And most of those girls, there's just a sense of community of black girls that, you'd share advice with each other as to, hey, how are you dealing with this? And how are you dealing with this? You form little sisters, and people that come from literally probably next door, they're back at home in the South or something. And most of the girls, some of the girls were on scholarship. Their parents were staying in other countries, Botswana and whatnot. So I think boarding just brings you back. So you spend the day with the white girls. And you come back, and then boarding is that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. University.
Sure.
So, you get to Hilton, you believe in the brand, you feel a part of the brand, and you feel like you add value to the brand.
Yeah.
And that's why I think part of the reason why they were able to brainwash us into kind of, screaming our lungs out on the side of the rugby pitch.
Really?
You get to university, and from 1 out of 500, I become 1 out of 70,000.
Yeah.
You went to Wits.
Yeah.
First day, how was that experience? Culture shock. Kind of what happened?
I've never been to a school where there's so many black people.
Wow.
I was like, I just felt like, I won't lie, it was a bit of a culture shock.
Yeah, 100%.
Everything.
Yeah, Wits is known though to be like very close to the dynamics of South Africa, like the realities. Yeah.
I won't lie, I was just shocked at this new space where nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
Firstly, nobody's gonna say, "Are you the new girl?" No, there's none of that.
Guys, this is a scam. It's the biggest scam, but you know what? I'm not a hater. Let me not be a hater.
Yeah, and I guess St. Mary's, everybody, well, kids of the north, most, like if you went to St. Stithy and St. Mary's, St. John's, St. David's, most people go to Cape Town.
Yeah.
You go to UCT, you go to Steadies, you know. And I mean, I got into all of those and I chose Wits.
Why did you choose Wits, by the way?
I think I told you, like I said, I'm the type to want to be an outlier in a situation. Everybody was going there. I wanted to go somewhere else. And Wits was also close to my mom. I've been in boarding school majority of the time. Never really got to see my mom from going every day, spending with my mom my whole primary school. It was a bit difficult, going to the boarding school, but I mean, it worked. We made it work. And then I was like, okay, well, let's go to a new place, Wits. Not everybody is going there. I can count my friends on my hands. Yes, there was a romantic interest in that situation. But also, it was just a place where not many people were going to be. And I was like, let me just start again, just start new, The social life in Joburg North was a hell of a social life, 100%. And then everybody used to go with those same people to Cape Town to do the exact same things we were doing.
Yes, and I mean, we were just talking about this now, is that like I obviously, at UCT, I was in one day, and I was talking to this random white girl, and I was asking about like, has she made any new friends? And she said to me, no, I've just stayed with the same friends kind of from high school. And I was like, you're literally a waste of resources. In my mind, I didn't obviously say this. You're literally a waste of resources to the university, because part of the university experience is being able to expose yourself to a range of people, but you're not allowing yourself to do that. And for you to kind of stick in your small knit group, you'll never truly grow.
Fully.
Shout out to my crush. But she's very, very different to kind of my normal type of way of life. And that's because I'm trying to, live that of going out. Yeah. And so you didn't find your people for how long? Like you were there.
Sure.
Were you at earphones on? How long were you earphones on?
No, not that much. Okay, well, yes, in the beginning,
yes. Earphones on?
In the beginning,
yes. Okay, so what's an earphones on? So
like
day in and day out?
Day in, day out, earphones. You leave your lecture, put on the earphones, you go to wherever you're getting lunch, whether it be the Matrix or something, with your earphones on, get what you need to get.
Head down.
After lectures, the last lecture, you're not going to go chill with people on the lawns. No, you're going home, straight home.
Crazy. Okay. Yeah. And how long did you live that lifestyle for?
I think I lived it for a solid year.
Jeez.
Yeah, for a solid year. Really, until like I made friends.
Okay.
And you know what? The friends that when I first started at Wits, most of my friends were doing a BCom.
Oh.
And I was doing BA. Everybody was going to BCom. So all the people that I knew now were on the other side of campus.
Oh yeah, that's how the university works. Oh, so the commerce is like on one side and
I think it's on the west, yes.
Oh, okay.
West campus.
Okay, I see.
And then all the BA,
so humanities class.
Humanities. We are on the east. So that was another thing. Now the only people I know here on the other side. So now I'm forced somehow to engage with people. And yes, you see, oh yeah, I know this person, let me go sit with them. But then conversations were awkward because I haven't spoken to, we weren't friends like that.
Sheesh.
And now like, because it's the only person you have to make conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you learn, university teaches you to and then I found my people. You just move across friendship groups like high school.
Yes, 100%.
You move around and see new people. And like the nice thing about university, it is cliquey. Don't let them fool you.
Yeah.
It is cliquey.
100%.
There's the people at the Matrix. They know themselves. Chill there.
So what's the Matrix is like the jammy stairs for us. Like where people just chill.
Yeah, you just chill.
Okay,
like it smells like weed everywhere.
Okay, it's funny. Weed doesn't smell. It's not as hectic, as potent as I thought it was going to be at UCT. Maybe I just don't know it that well, but yeah, it's not as potent.
If it's go to the Matrix.
You get high just by second.
Just sit around there. You've got your yeah. So
crazy.
Yeah, it was really hard. But finding your people, and sometimes it has to be a group. Yeah, sometimes it's just one person, and that's what I had. And then there was Taylor, and like we just had our friendship. Went through the whole university life and studying and whatnot, and she was a jock. She did hockey and whatnot. I wasn't a jock at university. But you move on and you make friends and you keep them. And you know what they say, the friends that you make in university are the ones that
keep for life.
Shout out to Amo. But there's those that come and go, and that's friendship. But it's really hard finding. And that if that's your purpose, if you're going to university to say, listen, I need to spread my wings and find new people, if you're going to be that one person that's overly social just to find people, so you can sometimes see that. You can see when a person is being trying too hard just to find friends. And sometimes you have to take a step back and think, shame, man, like I know where this person's coming from. We're all different. I'm not an extrovert. I'm not going to be that person that goes out and actively tries to make friends. Friendships happen, but those people that do go out their way, shout out to you, dude.
Yeah, like, shout out, man. Shout out. I feel like low key I'm an introvert though. Like on the lowest key.
Intro.
Yeah. Because just on that note of like trying to actively make friends, I've low key been very afraid to do that, especially in the university space. Because I think I low key have a very high standard as the type of friends that I want to make. And so I've been unfair to some people to say, you know what, they might just add value in this small section and that's fine. I don't need them to add value everywhere else. So it's been quite difficult also for me to kind of find my people. As much as some people like to think that they're my friends, we're just acquaintances. And that relationship has genuinely died. But yeah. And so do you believe in like friendship breakups? Because, something happens, some things don't, and I don't believe in friendship breakups. I just kind of ghost because I don't have the confidence to do that.
I'm a very big active.
Yeah, because obviously Taylor was quite close to you, and you guys kind of built a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Obviously, your university friendship and anything university is extremely intense.
100%.
So kind of like how did you guys break up? What did you guys do?
No, we did have a friendship breakup. I obviously felt like our friendship wasn't really working at that stage, and I felt like there were some outside influences that were not allowing our friendship to flourish the way it used to. Because remember, Taylor and I, it was just us.
Yes.
Like in our world. Yes, she had her friends that she'd had before I came. But when we were just the two of us, it was just us, majority of the time. So I'm a very big advocate of friendship breakups when it doesn't work for you, because there's nothing worse than being close to someone and then they just disappear.
Sure.
You can say something, and if just say what's on your heart. And I've had a few like that I had to distance from. It's part of growth. It's very hard. I don't like doing it. I hate it. But sometimes when someone's not fulfilling, well, if it's not a two-way street, let me not say if someone's not fulfilling their role in your life, but if it's transactional, then that's when the problem comes, because sometimes I might need you and I'm always there for you, but then when I need you the most, you're not there. And that one time could just, make me shut down a lot, because how am I going to trust you the next time?
Yeah.
So I personally don't like to be ghosted. That's why I don't think I'd want to do it to someone. If I've ghosted you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I hear you. And I think that, just beneath that, I think is also just a level of confidence that I think is starting to creep up more and more in your life. And that confidence journey during university, obviously also in your romantic relationships. How was that transition? Because I think for me, now that we're getting into kind of this final stage of your life now, where you're now transitioning into real...
final stage.
Yeah, real adulthood now, Joe. And lit tax, you know what I'm saying? And we obviously had the business that you started, which was also quite interesting. But that also takes a lot of confidence. So, and it's a thing that I must say is a difficult thing, and it's right, and it's what's the word that I'm looking for? It's justified by the fact that why women feel the way they feel, because there's a lot of pressure on them to perform at a high level. But that also takes massive amounts of confidence. So kind of what is the turning point for you in terms of from becoming this earphones hand, look down, don't go to the matrix, all the way to kind of knowing what you want in romantic relationships, knowing what you want in friendships, going after it in the business world and now even starting PMSS?
I think it's okay. Well, those who know me know that I hate confrontation.
Yes.
I hate confrontation. I used to be. I'm better now. I must say. I used to be the kind of girl that would hold. If we have problems, it's fine. Just keep quiet. Let it go. Just keep it inside until it starts boiling up, and then I'm like, ish. Okay, now I'm in this situation, right? So that I didn't have confidence in that manner that I could confront a situation head on, conflict or not conflict. Now I think the transition happened. Transition lockdown.
Okay.
I have to be honest.
Sure. Okay.
It had to have been lockdown.
During the COVID.
Yeah. Transition happened during lockdown where I kind of realized that lockdown was that space where if you are close to someone, you'll keep in contact during that period.
Okay.
It was that space where if you really cared about someone or you want to develop a relationship or a friendship with someone during that time, because what's stopping you? 100%. If there's no, I'm going out to go here, or I'm busy with this. Yes, we're busy with school, but it was online. You could make time for people. You most generally had the time for people, and you had the time for things you wanted to do. There's no more excuses. It's just you and looking at what you want. And I guess that's when I realized that, okay, Lele, what do you really want to do? And it doesn't have to be a final decision. Like, just if you want to do something, do it. And I think I learned it also from my parents. Mamimora is a very big thing. If I want something, I'm going to go get it. And yeah, when the chats about MT Sports coming up and things started, I'm just seeing Mamimora and my dad planning. And at that point, most people are just stuck, man. So I just was like, if they can do it, why not? So that's when I started LKM, and I was like, I want to do this tutoring thing. I've been tutoring for a very long time, and I had a lot of parents asking for tutors and stuff during lockdown because, parents became teachers at that point. So that's when I was just like, if you really want something, go for it. Lockdown really helped with that, and the real ones stayed.
Yeah. And now here you are, the final step into the adulthood, getting into it now, and that confidence is starting to build, sheesh.
And I was never a confident person. I was never outwardly confident.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what the secret is though. Like I get the seeing it, but how does, I think of myself, right? I saw an absolute baddie yesterday. Oh, wow. What a beautiful hand. But my crush is still number one, of course. And I was like, yo, Corpse, I can't get myself to just go up to her and talk to her. I just can't. There's just something inside of me that's just like, don't do it, move forward, high value man, yes sir. But then again, it's like, I just don't know, and I feel that pressure kind of, goes with everybody else in their own personal lives. But I'm trying to think if you kind of could give, and look, there's no one solution for one size fits all, but I'm just saying the thing that kind of worked for you in terms of really amping up your confidence levels.
I think it's about rating yourself. I was the type of girl, I had to be told a few times that, Lele, you're actually good.
Oh, shit.
You're actually good at this. Before I was like, actually, you know what? Got this.
Yeah.
It takes so I was always the person who just did what needed to be done. And every time people were like, oh, Lele, that was so good, I was just like, okay, move on, next thing. There's none of this celebrate your wins nonsense. No. You just do things to get. But I think once you realize that I'm actually good at this, that's when that confidence comes of, I'm actually beautiful.
Yeah.
That's when the confidence comes of, okay, I can approach that guy. Or actually, I've got the brains. I've got the solution to this problem. Let me just do it.
Yeah.
It's just about taking that leap. I won't lie. They all say it sounds so cliche, but it's just doing.
100%. And just to end off the Pitso Mosimane soccer schools, MT Sports. You've obviously grown a lot in Babuto's shadow. And a lot of people kind of want to know that experience. How has it been kind of growing up You went to Egypt, you saw that whole experience. You know, you've been here in South Africa, seeing him with Sundowns. You've been there HD. You know, you've watched the guy from absolutely nothing to an absolutely profound and phenomenal, and one of probably the GOAT of footballing coaching in Africa. So, kind of, what's your perspective on kind of 4K HD? Talk to the guy almost every single day. You know, 100% access. You know, how's that been?
Well,
how's that relationship developed, I suppose?
It's been a journey. It's been a journey. You know what? I think you also relate to this point of the fact that we didn't know how good Coach Pitso was.
Yeah, very early.
Yeah, it happened. I think Sundowns phase.
Yeah, super sport for me.
I didn't see it super sport. Super sport, I just remember remember those things we used to get taken on where there were those community things.
Yes.
Where they'd train the kids.
Yes.
And then we were just there to give sandwiches and water.
Yes.
Actually, that was a good lesson. It's a good thing our parents took us to that
100%,
stuff.
100%.
But you know what? I didn't realize how big the guy was until high school. No. Yeah, until high school. You know, during the FIFA World Cup, the 2010 World Cup, okay, you know, we were, you know, that's when, okay, you saw that this guy is big. But it was only this guy is big because the World Cup is here.
100%.
And also, we were just excited about having the World Cup.
Yeah.
And then I guess when he left Safa, I don't know if did you go to school that day?
I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on.
You didn't go, yeah. Well, I went to school the day he got fired. I think he phoned my mom that day to tell my mom, and then I went to school that day. And going to co-ed school, I was there now. All these boys came to me and started telling me that your dad got fired. It was a joke. People were laughing. I used to get tuned about it. And I used to cry. I mean, I went home crying and I told him, and he's like, you must ask them what their dads do.
Yeah.
But I think you grow up, and you don't know how big the guy is until other people tell you how.
Yes.
I was always the Pitso Mosimane's daughter.
Yeah.
You know, go to gatherings, Pitso. You know, special treatment. But we weren't exposed to that world that much until he got to Sundowns and was doing that well in Sundowns. We were always in the shadows. I was not always known as Pitso's daughter. I never really advertised it that, hey, I'm Pitso's daughter kind of a thing. I just kept it to myself.
And that was like an undertone rule in our household.
Yes.
And still actually remains to be.
Yes.
Yeah, in many ways. Yeah. Like,
but you also grow up, like you realize, like Rhea doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really like that. Yeah.
No, because it changes things. But I guess also we weren't known that much like that to get that, you know.
Yeah.
But then like high school, nobody cared. Nobody watched soccer. Oh, your dad's that soccer guy. Until obviously he progressed and things started going well for Pitso. He just worked hard. We hardly saw him. But lockdown again, we got to lockdown and we both learned our parents more and got to see how hard they actually work.
100%.
Those people are just on another level. I think our moms just, I always say, my mom is just on another level. And now that we're in the public eye, as you'd put it, people are, people will say things. People will always say things. We talked about it last night. People will always say things and try to tell you that, hey, your dad can't do this. Your dad is not that good and whatnot. But he continuously proves them wrong. And 100%. It's a sense of pride that I guess we have.
Yeah. It's beautiful, you know, and I do respect Bob Pitso and all that he's done, you know. I think for me, my transition point I forgot to mention, we went to, like, there was a soccer game, like, randomly. I think it was in like grade 3-4, and he predicted somebody was going to get a red card. He just predicted, and the guy actually got a red card, and that was the day that I realized that he's a GOAT.
Really?
Yeah, before the World Cup, I think it was a grade 2. We were on like some like sand pitch, and like he called the coach during the game and said that guy's going to get a red card. Got a red card, and I was like, boom. That's the GOAT right there. But no, that's beautiful, man.
Even that time, remember that time he told us about the CAF?
Yeah.
When they were playing CAF with Sundowns.
Yeah.
And I think it was when they started, and then Coach Pitso said to you and I, guys, this year.
Yes.
It was 2016. He said, this year.
Keegan Dolly's going to verse this one. Billy Atias.
KDB. What was it called? CBD.
Yeah, CBD. Oh, man, that was crazy. It was crazy.
He said to us, guys, I'm going to win the Champions League.
Yeah.
You were like,
yeah. What a legend, eh? What a legend.
Like, you know, it's just, and people think that, I want to ask you, do you get this thing of you have to also live up to that success? Because
no, I get more than that. I think for me it's to whom much is given, much is expected. I've always lived by that, you know, and I've had to also realize that we've been given a lot, and so the expectation is very much so. But I also have to realize that we don't work from a place of 0 to millionaire. We're trying to work from millionaire to billionaire type way, and I feel like that type of mindset and thinking is very different. So I recognize that I have the privilege, and I recognize that, of course, you know, they've done a lot of success in their own right, and yes, of course, I do feel the pressure to kind of perform at that level because, rightly so, I've been given the opportunity so that I can go in that direction. But for me, I think definitely that pressure is there, and I'm happy that it's there because you know, if I was just gonna be a old Joe Schmo, given all the opportunity and experience that I've been given, I think it would be unfair, and I'd be doing a disservice to myself and to my family.
100%.
So it's part of the balance of life. You know, we get to experience all this privilege, go to Saudi Arabia, you know, but at the same time, there's an underlying thing of you've also got to perform, and you've got to take this family and the bloodline to the next level.
100%. And at the end of the day, like you said, life is balanced.
100%.
Like, behind all the success and behind all of the trophies and the whatnot, there's a human.
Yeah. And they
inside.
forget that. Yeah.
And people forget that. And I guess we see the human side.
Yes.
And as much as we see this great thing of what our parents work for and how hard they work and how much they sacrifice, we see also the emotional toll it takes on them and the human being inside. Yeah. And you don't realize as a kid, you don't realize that until you get older that, hey, there's like a parent, there's a person behind all of this.
Yeah. Like Papito's quite a competitive guy, you know, doesn't like losing an argument.
Even Ludo. A simple game of Ludo.
100%. No. It's really a remarkable experience. And I always, every single day, I thank God that I've been able to kind of see what success kind of looks like, you know, and the reality of that. And I think that, you know, hopefully in the near future we can talk about our own successes. And
it also doesn't mean that like our parents' successes are not ours. I'm not saying that because your parent does something well that everything is inherently yours. No, also work for your own things. But also there's some pride in also carrying on what your parents have been doing, carrying 100%. On their legacy. And you know, people think you do get emotionally attached to it. I find myself at MT Sports and our jobs and PMSs. I am more emotionally, I see the value in something emotionally. I'm emotionally connected to the projects that we do, whether it's for Coach Pitso or whether it's for another talent. Because at the end of the day, this is our family name. I get, you know, it's so hard when people come from outside and they come work in this environment and they don't take that same emotion thing that you have. It's so hard to find people that are, you know. Yeah,
as passionate as you.
Yes. And especially when you believe and you've seen the view, like, you know what's happening. You've got the vision, the bigger vision that what this can bring. And it's difficult, but it's so rewarding and it's so, like, I love my job. And you know, people working with family, it is tough sometimes, but you just need to know your place and where your strengths are. And, you know, just because I work with my parents doesn't mean my opinion's heard every time. At the end of the day, I'm still a junior worker.
100%.
And I'm happy to take that back seat sometimes and say, hey, I don't know, I'm here to learn. But also, I mean, we work in an environment where your opinion does matter, and we're going to listen to you and hear you, no matter who you are. But it's adulting is just another thing.
Yeah. Well, we need a part 2 on adulting, and I think that it's been a privilege just to kind of get some perspective on who you are. I think thank you for your grace, your demeanor, and all that you do, Lee. I think that it's interesting the way that you've lived your life, and I suppose also the commitment that you have not only to your brand but also to yourself, in trying to prove your worth. I don't know if I agree or disagree with some of your methods sometimes, but I think it works for you. And that's what's most important.
One of us may boss.
But I feel like, I think great success is on the way. And I think that, it is firstly the realization that you have experience a privileged life, and that, you know, in many ways you're the expectations, and you living up to those expectations is a beautiful thing. And I hope that the world in many ways repays you in all your hard efforts. But this is the woman that's behind MT Sports, all the social media, of course. We really do appreciate everything.
Thank you,
yeah, man, where can people find you, of course?
I'm on Instagram, Lelentle KM.
OnlyFans?
Off brand. Off brand. Twitter, same handle, Lelentle KM. Facebook, I'm not really much on Facebook.
Yeah, no one's on Facebook. Yeah. Fuck that, bro.
Shout out to you, Golf. Shout out to the space that you're building.
Yes,
and
sir.
We're behind you 100%.
100%.
And can't wait to see where you take this. I think
100%.
this is definitely where
belong. 100%. So yeah, this is an interesting part, you know, different vibe today, but I like the chill vibe sometimes. Yeah. We'll be doing a part 2 soon with Lee. Thank you so much. As always, people, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Join the gang. Sayonara. Peace.